यार लो कुछ है।
And the subject of the theme which we have chosen is actually very pertinent, because this is something which we see often in everyday life, and this is not new. This is right from the beginning of the ancient days, the Ramayana Maratha days, to the Roman, to the to as recent as our politicians. So I'll just take you through a very basic things, and then we'll chat about it. Yeah. Okay. So all of us know ambition. It is actually a Latin word which has been used by almost everybody in some good sense. But at the same time, we also know that more than often it is used for in the wrong sense, in the sense that फलाना आदमी तो over ambitious है. Yeah. So it has more of a negative connotation than the positive connotation, which should not be the case actually. So traditionally, this word has been always looked at as somebody who is capable, somebody who aims high and wish to achieve certain things. In that sense, if you look at, it is a very positive thing. But our renowned people like Aristotle or the Plato, the famous philosophers, they never thought that it is a virtue. They said it's just a quality of the characteristic or personality, but not a human virtue actually. So in that sense, if you look at what is humility, I would say that it is, in the sense, true sense of humility is actually, it's not thinking less. So it is actually not thinking less of yourself, but it is thinking of yourself less. And that's where the key lies actually. So अक्सर आप और हम क्या सोचते हैं कि वो आदमी अपने आप को क्या समझता है, और वो हमेशा है ना अपने बारे में सोचता रहता है. वो एक उससे उसका एक अपने को मिस रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ द पर्सनालिटी होता है. While somebody who is achieved, and despite achieving a lot of success, if he remains grounded, we call it how humility, when the person has such a humility. Yeah. So I would say that while ambition is about the glory, the fame, the success celebration, the achievement, the humility is generally about burden and suffering. Burden and suffering, I would say, not in the true sense of the suffering with poverty or suffering with the lack of ideas, not that way. But it is carrying the burden of ambition on oneself, actually. And that's where we call it as a burden of carrying the ambition on oneself with humility, with suffering. So we often feel, and the questions are asked whether the ambition and humility, they can coexist. So the इतिहास गवाह है, जैसा हम बोलते हैं कि दोनों चीजें साथ रही है, और जो जिन लोगों में दोनों साथ रही है, they become immortals, they become famous, and जिनको हम बोलते हैं वो कैरेक्टर्स अमर हो गए. Vice versa also has happened, but they are known for their negative achievements actually, और अपने जो बोलते हैं जो सक्सेस को पचा नहीं पाए या सक्सेस को यूज नहीं कर पाए वो लोग. So to win in life, you have to have ambition, and leaders need to think that humility is actually being in the service of ambition. So there's nothing wrong in being ambitious. One must have goals, one must aim high, but it should also be supplemented with the humility. Let's take some examples from the history actually. If you look at the history, in Mahabharata days also, we have examples of Dhritarashtra, we have examples of Yudhishthira, we have examples of Duryodhana. So while Dhritarashtra or Duryodhana, they had ambition of becoming kingdom, acquiring the Hastinapur, their means were often questioned. And while the same thing is not said about Yudhishthir, while at times we felt that his some of the approaches, some of the steps, or some of the acceptances were not right, but it is under all humility he accepted or he rejected certain times certain ideas. We have also seen Aurangzeb. He was a hugely successful man, and he was growing and expanding his empire. Even he cut his elder brother's Zara Shiko's son and took this to the street. But he also claimed always that my means are fair and I am an ethical ruler. He always wanted to be an ethical ruler, and he believed that an emperor should stand midway between the gentleness and severity. So that leads us to again to the question that can the ambition and humility coexist or not? There are other rulers like Hyder Ali who conquered the kingdom, but on his deathbed, when his death came, he told his son Tipu Sultan that we may seize a crown, but the crown may escape us if we do not entrust to the love of people. Saying that if you are to last long as a king, you must earn the love of the people. Then there are examples in the Roman history also, which is full of bloody baths, bloody wars. The Shakespeare says that Coriolanus, who was the Roman general, he said, I don't want the job, I want the honor. It showed that for him, the ambition of winning the war was more important. But once he won the war, his temperament was unsuited actually, and he could never become a popular leader. Same way, his predecessors or successors, Caligula and Nero, whom everybody loved to hate because he did become the king, but nobody liked him. We have examples of the headlines in the recent times, like the popular Nike hoarding, which says that you don't build silver, you lose gold. Now, this was a very popular but usually criticized in the back of saying that somebody who has won the silver, whether he should celebrate the success or he should be repenting that he could not win the gold. So examples like this, pushes us to think more. The similar examples can come from the corporate world also. We have plenty of them all around us. If you look at the recent times, the popularity of Anand Mahindra vis-a-vis the other popular leaders, other corporate giants are figure. So the man who shows the success, the growth, the ambition achieved with humility are more respected, more powerful. Vis-a-vis, like we have example of let's say Yes Bank founder Rana. The man was very ambitious and he did achieve. He created, but the humility was missing, and therefore the fall. So they say that when power is unconstrained and the governance is uncontrolled, then the undesirable distortions happen in the judgment, in the cognition, and the behavior of the leaders. And therefore, the ambition takes a different route. It either derails or distracts. While the strong corporate governance and stalling the blatant or repeated misuse of power are fundamental to any organization, we understand that the leaders who wants to become, who have ambition and who wants to rule, they have to exercise powers. They have to repeatedly use the what they call as authority. But are they able to generate value for the stakeholders, for the shareholders, and for the public at large? The organization may gain, I would say, but the people may lose or the company may lose. So leaders should act as if they had suffered a traumatic. So many of the leaders, we saw that they are so arrogant, so aggressive in nature in order to achieve the ambition, their own ambition, personal or organizational. But it looks like as if they are suffering from a traumatic brain injury, and how a person become disoriented or chaotic in the nature. That's how they behave actually. And it also percolates down in the corporates, as we see. The newly become managers or senior managers or HODs or so, they also start behaving like the CEO or the leader who's leading the company from the front. And they come to the feeling of like, I'm now the boss, and that's where the problem lies. Because in that process, they start replicating, they start behaving as if it came, the rights came with as a birthright, and they have power, and they can misuse it to lead the people under them. We have also seen some of the recent examples, like the Nirmala Sitharaman, our finance minister's outburst in Assam against the SBI chairman, Sanjay Gandhi, who treated SBI chairman R.K. Talwar in a very bad, shady manner. Or when Rajiv Gandhi announced about the change of Indian foreign secretary in a very abrupt manner, that was showing that the bullying culture, which is embedded in the hierarchical, the mindset of our Indian society, is far from humility. We also have example of corporates, like we have recently seen the, if I may allow, the Narayan Murthy. Under all humility, when he was in a function, he gave the award, but Ratan Tata ke unhone pair chhude. So that shows that if the success achieved by the fair means or by the important ethical methods, then it stays actually with you. And otherwise, what happens is the success or the ambition achieved is short. It is very short-lived actually. And what is coupled, if we have the useful quality, another which is required is the perseverance. So quite often in the path of achieving the ambition, if the person does not have perseverance, the humility may allow him to reach to certain level, without perseverance, he may or may not be able to achieve what he has in mind and capability. So if you also look at these two qualities actually fluctuate between individuals to individuals, and there's no saying that ambition and humility, they are not necessarily mutually exclusive. People do say that we have seen examples, we have seen people, we have seen leaders who are so humble and grounded to earth that सफलता उनको उनके सर पर छू नहीं सकती. But it cannot be expected from one and all. So without the one right choice, it is up to us, it is up to you and me, which road we want to take. And it also depends on each individual situation, which can help us decide what is the appropriate strategy for you or me. But the history is full of examples where ambitions and humility coexisted. And probably that is the best way around. Thank you, sir.
Very wonderful. Shailesh, very wonderful.
Shailesh, that was wonderful.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming over and staying with it throughout
Thank you,
this.
Shailesh ji.
It was
Yes,
very
sir.
interesting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Shailesh ji. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Pleasure mine.
Good initiative. Though I came in a little late.